we break up the services we sell as well as the behaviors that we like to encourage on behalf of our clients into 7 different ones. Apologies, this is a bit small on the screen, but it's listen with new intelligence. So one of the examples that we show is EditD. EditD is a company that uses social media monitoring tools. They fire it at people's reactions to the fashion catwalk shows, and then they use that data to forecast 6 months, 12 months, 18 months down the line what the high street shops should be selling. Participate in the conversation real time, all the time. We have Best Buy as a client. A lot of you will have come across the 12th Force. So the 12th Force, they use social media monitoring. They have an internal training course that once you've passed it, you are given access to a kind of group Twitter interface that allows you to respond to customers' questions. Socialized media relations is all about giving people the content that they can themselves share. So you've got the 1990 model. Socialized media relations is all about if you as a brand are the one or can encourage the ones to create the shareable, embeddable content, then do so. The next one, create and co-create content. I forget what examples I've got in there. GIF-GAF, I think, is one that is applicable to you and the work that you're doing and hope to do in future. For those of you who have ever had a problem with your mobile phone network, you know that it probably takes you 10, 15 minutes to speak to a human. GIF-GAF claims to have a 3-minute response rate to customer care inquiries, and the reason why is because they actually incentivize their own customers to respond to each other's customer care inquiries, and they get paid for that. I also really like this one. This is the Glamour magazine Ask a Stylist iPhone app. You take a photograph of yourself, as I did here, you upload it, and then you say, I've got a fashion disaster, it's in this category. So it might be first date, or job interview, or casual Friday in the office, or away day. And then you define which one of their fashion stylists you want to respond to the question. The men in the room will know that I chose Samantha for fairly obvious reasons. And then you type in your question and you submit it. The question goes off, and 5 or 10 minutes later, you get a response written specifically for you. Now, what's really interesting about this, and I don't know if they're actually doing this or not, but they're getting a whole bunch of really interesting data. First of all, they get a picture of me. They can see what I'm wearing. What color am I wearing? What type of clothing am I wearing? They know that I chose that stylist. And to people who ask particular questions, ask this stylist or another stylist, which stylist is more popular? Are they getting lots of photographs from men? And if so, would it make sense to do an editorial piece of content written by her for women, telling them how to help their man dress better? So they're getting all sorts of interesting data that they could use. Champion open advocacy. So it's all about, in the end, the love you take is equal to the love that you make, and that's all about this kind of thing, the Facebook like, recommending it to friends, etc. Building active partnerships for the common good. We've got Pepsi Refresh version 1 in there. And this one, which I love, it's a great example. So are some of you familiar with Enabled by Design? A woman named Denise, she's about 27, 28 years old. She went into the GP and said, I keep stumbling into walls. I don't know what's wrong with myself. Sent her off to some tests. Turned out that she had a degenerative muscular and nervous system disorder that was getting progressively worse quite quickly at that point in time. And the doctor gave her a gray NHS issue crutch, and she looked at it and said, she had a million things going on in her head, so she probably didn't think of this until a few days later, but she looked at it and she said, well, that's not going to go with my dress when I go out dancing on my birthday Friday. I've got to find a better one. So she went online looking for a better crutch, couldn't find one, but she did find some polka-dotted sticky tape in Germany, had it overnighted to her. She pimped her crutch, put the photos online, and other people who had similar problems stumbled across it and got in touch and said, where did you get that thing? And then she came up with the idea of, what if I could create a community of people like me who have disabilities or different kind of mobility problems, etc., where we actually road test ordinary products and services and post our reviews, and also work together to come up with solutions to the problems that we realize that we all have in common. The idea, the next stage that they want to go to, is to actually come up with some ideas for prototypes and market research for those prototypes that they then take to manufacturers and say, we know there are 3,500 people that we know something about because the data that we've got from the conversations we've had with them who need a crutch that has polka dots on it. Will you make it? Oh, and when you make it, will you sell it back through our site to the audience that we've created? And again, I think that, a lot of these things, when I saw your platform for the first time, I thought, wow, that's, it would enable things like this. And then embrace the chaos. At this point, I admit to most of our clients and the audiences that I speak to that I don't actually have any idea why this slide's in there, and there's 7 things, and all good things are supposed to come in 7s. But anyway, in terms of our success as an agency in selling in social media propositions to clients, everyone wants social media monitoring. A lot of our clients are starting to become interested in having a Facebook on social platforms, third-party social platforms. Most of them aren't yet at the stage where they've realized that they're going to be gaining valuable data in addition to having conversations with their audiences. And so a big thing for us now is to say, once you've engaged, you need to extract some data from that engagement. You need to get something of value to you, and those customer insights are of huge value. But also you need systems, both kind of processes and platforms, that take that data and get it to the right people when they need it, wherever they are in the business. So breaking down that silo of, just because marketing commissioned it doesn't mean that other people in the business can't use that information and those insights. That, I hope, provides a little bit of a snapshot of the kind of thinking that agencies are doing, and it gives you some idea of where our clients are at and what your clients might be interested in the instances where you're able to go to them directly. I will also tell you that a lot of our clients are very scared of social. They do see it as an opportunity, but they don't necessarily have the skills in-house to come up with the creative solutions and campaigns and meaningful participatory frameworks, as I called them. They also don't have the skills to necessarily manage those sorts of participatory frameworks and the engagement that happens within them. So if you can help them understand that your platform and the services that you provide can actually support them through that process in a meaningful way, then I think that you've gone a long way towards convincing them. But anyway, should I answer questions? Are there questions?